What is going on, guys? Summer1092 here, bringing you another episode of Mail Call, where you leave a question below, doesn't matter what it's about, and I answer them. So this week we got quite a bit of responses, so let's get to it. And this one comes from Crazy, and he asks, are you going to play the new Splinter Cell Blacklist that is coming out the 20th of August? Probably not the day of release. I don't buy the Splinter Cell games on the day that they come out. It's just one of those games that it's just like, if I play it, I probably will enjoy it, but I don't need to play it per se. I always rented the old ones on the PS2, but then they went Xbox exclusive for a little while there, so I just kind of gave up on the series because it wasn't like a series that I'm like, oh my god, I love it so much. But it was good. I mean, I played like Pandora Tomorrow and like think like the original Splinter Cell. Um, I think I played every one of them on the PS2 if I'm not mistaken, and I also got Splinter Cell Essentials for the PSP, which I'm actually currently playing, just to play because I've never actually played it on the PSP. It's not that great. I wouldn't buy it. Alright, we got a next one from Ramon. Why are you a Sony fanboy? Because ever since I can remember, I had a PlayStation controller in my hand. I mean, when did the PS1 come out? Like 96? Something like that, 96 or 97. So I mean, I pretty much grew up playing the PS1, and then like the PlayStation 2 came out, and I still play that to this day, and it's just, to me, the PlayStation 2 is the ultimate console, and I still have my original one from like 2000, so I mean, it's going on 13 years old and it's still kicking it, and you just can't deny the like perfection of the PS2, I would say. Okay, not perfect, but I mean, it's got its flaws. A little underpowered, I guess, but the amount of games that you can buy for it and how cheap they were and how long and well built that system was. And the PS2 really started the online gaming, like that's what really made it big. SOCOM was actually something to do with that. Like without SOCOM, a lot of the games I think would be different nowadays. I think they still would catch on eventually, but it wouldn't be. I think it would have been like late PS2 probably by the time they caught on. And yeah, I think I, I, I just the track record for Sony's really good. Like, yeah, they kind of screwed up on the PS3, but they even admitted that, and at least they admit it, and they said they're not going to do it again. So I really like that about that company, is they admit their fault, and they fixed it with the PS4. Hopefully, we don't know 100% yet, but hopefully they'll fix that, and by the sounds of it, they will. But I mean, I appreciate what Xbox is doing. I was actually gonna get an original Xbox at one time, just for like the Halo series, because I actually really do like the Halo series. And but then they took all the servers away, and I'm like, screw that. I'm not gonna sit there and buy a system just to play a campaign mode on a few games. But I do like the original Xbox, and I do like the 360. I just cannot stand that the Red Ring of Death situation and all that stuff that just really turned me off about the system. And I'm not much of a Microsoft fan either, but I do appreciate the system, and I'm not like the ridiculous Sony fanboy I was at one time. I used to be completely anti-Xbox, 360 that is. But I think PS3, when it first started versus like the 360, I mean the 360 was obvious winner, but now I think they're about dead even. But hardware-wise, the PS3 does have that little edge, but it was never taken advantage of unless you look at like Uncharted and Killzone and stuff like that. But also exclusives, I do like the Sony exclusives a little better. The original Xbox just never had the exclusives that I wanted to play, and they didn't have the backing of the developers either. But see, the 360, I mean, if you look at like 360 versus PS3, it you can't. I, I can't jump ship just because one system was popular. That's pretty much it. And then, okay, sorry about that. That was a little rant there, but we got another question from Ramon. He asked, "You're into cars? Question mark. And do you race?" I don't race, but I did grow up at like a little local racetrack here because my dad was part of a pit crew on one of the cars. It's not like NASCAR style pit crew where you sit there and like 15-second, these were just like 20 lap shootouts, and then you go in the pit and fix your car and do whatever, and then half hour later you do it again. It's just local track. It's nothing like sanctioned or anything. It's just for fun, pretty much. I mean, you win money, but that's about it. And yes, I am into cars. I've been into cars as long as I can remember. When I was younger, I used to make model cars and everything like this, and Hot Wheels I used to love when I was little. And then it kind of grew into a love for working on cars. I actually do really like working on cars. I actually went to school for it for 2 years. I ended up getting my automotive certificate. So yeah, I do have a little background in cars, and also my dad he used to own a car shop also, so that kind of started it all out. When I was younger, I used to work on my bikes and everything too, but I don't know, I got like a natural talent for fixing stuff, so that, cars fixing, I guess I'm pretty proficient when it comes to it. It's pretty easy for me. And we also got a message from Killer 3052, and it said, "What made you choose the name Stormer 1092?" Well, when I was making a Yahoo Mail account, like Yahoo email, that's what I still use to this day, is that account. And it was originally supposed to be like Spectre, as in like the Spectre that you play in SOCOM, because I was a SOCOM fan my whole freaking life. But that was taken, so then I started just making up names, and it ended up coming up with Stormer, because it was kind of close, I guess. I mean, it starts with an S. I don't know. And I was 10 years old when I made it, and I was born in 1992. So I've had that same username for 10 years now. So that's the story behind that. I mean, it's nothing like personal or anything. It's just a name that I go with. I've been using it for 10 years. I use it on across every website, everything. And this one comes from Snow. I actually had to write this down. And what is your top 5 favorite car games? Well, I actually had to do some thinking for this because I did play a lot of them. But my number 1 all-time favorite car game is Need for Speed Underground 2. Because when I was younger, I mean, I wasn't into the whole Gran Turismo. I really didn't get into Gran Turismo until like late GT4. Because, when you're young like that, you don't give two craps about realism in a car game. But Underground 2 was like the best. I remember I was part of the Rear-Wheel Drive Kings, which is like a little club that we did, and or Drift Kings, my bad. And it was like there was actually a lot of drifting on that game. That's when like Tokyo Drift first came out. So Fast and Furious was like a big influence on that. And me and this one kid would always play every night, like from like 6 to 11 every day. We'd be playing that game, and just the hours that we put into that game is just ridiculous. And so that's that one. And for number 2 would have to be Gran Turismo 5. Gran Turismo 5 is just that I really got into that Gran Turismo more than any of them, and it has to do with being a little bit older and understanding, cars better. When I was playing Need for Speed Underground 2, that was like before I drove, so I mean, I didn't understand cars, but now I do. So that really opened my eyes up to like, you can actually do this kind of stuff in a video game. You can actually tune and adjust spring rates and stuff like this that I never understood before, but I do understand them now. We did learn about that stuff, so. And the community online is ridiculously awesome. Gran Turismo community. Shout out to everyone in that. But for the number 3 game would have to be NASCAR 06. I used to absolutely love the NASCAR games back in the PS2 days. NASCAR 07 was eh. 08 just kind of sucked. 09 is the last year they made it. 09 was good, but I never played it much. I didn't buy it or anything, but I had NASCAR 06. I got it for Christmas one year, I believe. And I remember the racetracks they had on there. I remember the one that was like Dodge racetrack or something. It was like in a stadium and it was so short. And you started your career off with like the open wheeling series, and then you went to like the truck series, then you went to the Bush series. Well, what is it, the nationwide series now? And then you went up to the Cup series, which is so you had that like progression. You also had like customization. I think you made a team, if I'm not mistaken. But it was just really cool. That was number 3. So number 4 would probably be Need for Speed Most Wanted on the PS2. That came after Underground 2. This is the original Need for Speed Most Wanted, not the newest one that just reincarnated. I haven't played that yet, actually. I played the demo. It looks really good. I do want to get it eventually, but it's not a game that I'm like crazy over. But that's the customization of Most Wanted was really good. And then you went to the Blacklist, I believe, and you took down like these rival drivers, I want to say. Rival drivers, I guess. And that was just pretty much, I loved the heck out of that game because I just recently got a steering wheel. Like I got a bunch of money for Christmas, so I went, bought a steering wheel, bought Need for Speed Most Wanted, played the whole game with the steering wheel, and that was freaking killer. So I mean, I had a lot of fun with that game too, but that was just pretty much rolling off of the Need for Speed Underground 2 love, I guess. But then I went back to Need for Speed Underground 2, which is why Need for Speed Underground 2 is higher than Most Wanted on the list. But number 5, I would have to say Grid. The original Grid. I haven't played Grid 2 yet. I want to. But the drifting in this game was freaking awesome, and I remember like when it first came out, you had a chance to like win a car or something. God, I had fun doing that. That was like out of this world when that first came out. But now, you know, got the GT Academy, which is everyone's doing that kind of stuff now. But the original Grid, like the drifting was freaking amazing in it. I used to love it. And then some honorable mentions. I used to love the original MotorStorm that launched with the PS3. I actually played that a lot online, and it was really fun. It was really arcadey, but like the graphics are still amazing to this day if you ever play it. They're really, really good. The other ones, like the, what is it, Apocalypse is kind of eh. That's the newest one, and then they also have, what is it, Pacific Rift, which is more like the original one, which is good, but see, I like the original MotorStorm setting, which is kind of like in the desert and stuff like that. But also another honorable mention is NASCAR Dirt to Daytona, which means if you don't know anything about NASCAR, like they started on dirt tracks and yada yada yada, you went all the way up. I used to play that game quite a bit. I don't really remember it too much, but I remember I really enjoyed it, and I know that you started out in like a dirt car and worked your way up through the ranks just like how you did in NASCAR 06. And then also another game that I really liked a lot, which isn't really a racing game, it's more of a demolition derby game, but I'm still going to mention it, is Test Drive EV Destruction, which the original couple test drives are really good. I remember on one of the test drives you could play Pong like on the like in the loading screens, and I actually had more fun with that sometimes than I did with the game. But the Test Drive EVA Destruction just put it over the top, and that was just a great game. I loved like buying cars, and you could do like demo derby, and you did like figure 8 tracks and trailer racing and stuff like that. I mean, that was just fun. That was like the redneck in me coming out. But that's for all the racing games that I enjoy. But on to the next one. We got Hadley Tom 88. What do you like about Conflict Desert Storm, and how, in your opinion, does it compare to SOCOM? I owned the original Conflict Desert Storm. I actually still have it somewhere in my room. I have no idea where it is. I know I have it somewhere. But I'm kind of, I don't know where it is. I'd love to play it again though. It's like a more army-based version of SOCOM with weirder controls, and I don't remember much about the teamwork aspect of it. I know you can switch characters. I remember you can switch characters, but it's been a long time. It's been years since I played it. I did like it though. I played the Vietnam version, and then I want to say like futuristic one. Not the future. It's like I forgot what it's called. It's like Spec Ops or something like that. I don't remember. But I really like the Vietnam one because it actually made you feel like you're in the Vietnam War with like the setting and everything like that. But he also asked another question. What do you think about the graphics and the AI in Conflict Desert Storm? I do remember the graphics. They weren't great. I mean, they were on par with when they came out. I mean, they weren't completely bad or really good. I just remember like blowing up tanks and stuff. But the AI also, I don't remember too much about the AI. But I, I just can't remember them being good. I don't remember them being really, really good to the point where I remember 'em. So, I mean, I don't know about that answer there. I guess they were okay. Same as every other game during that time period. That's all we got for this week, guys. Just leave a question below if you want to hear an answer to it, and I will answer it. Don't worry. But we'll see you next time, guys. Peace.